Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric and our continuing series on the Steam Deck. More importantly, what emulators you should be using, how to set them up, and what retro games you should be playing on those emulators. And for as good as this thing is as a modern handheld gaming PC, I think it excels even more in the retro space. This is going to be a different video. It's my 1 year review of the Steam Deck as far as a retro gaming device is concerned. I've been doing these tutorials for over a year now, and you guys have been really enjoying them, and I've absolutely enjoyed my time with the Steam Deck. Additionally, because it is the Christmas season, I have some giveaways in this video as well. I'm giving away 3 different ExtremeRate new cases for the Steam Deck, and I'll tell you how to enter in just a little bit. But it's wild to think that I've been doing this for over a year now with this Steam Deck, and in that year I figured I would comprise a lot of what I've talked about and give you guys a sense of how good this thing really is for retro gaming if you haven't yet jumped in, and if you have, show you some other emulators that this thing runs. From the controls to the screen quality, this is the non-OLED version, I may do a video on that in the future. The Steam Deck has proven time and time again to be one of the most versatile, fun platforms I have ever used in my 20 plus years of playing retro games and collecting for them. There's nothing that I've thrown at the Steam Deck yet that it has not been able to pull off for the most part, and having a massive library of the games I own available to play whenever I want, whether I'm lying in bed or on a plane, has just been nothing short of magic. The fact that you can just pop into something like the Sharp X68000 emulator here, see a DOS prompt, or more like a human 68K DOS prompt, and then get into a game on this is just so much fun. There's so many different things you can do with this Steam Deck, but being able to play Sharp X68000 games on the go with such a great control layout and such a responsive screen, it is so much fun. But if you get bored with something like this, the versatility is in just how much the Steam Deck will do. We can quit out of it and go from something like the Sharp X68000 to the PlayStation 2 and just start playing some of the best games on that platform as well. And the greatest thing is the performance is rock solid stable. You can enhance so many of these games, you can get them running at a higher internal resolution, and you're still going to get a lock 60 frames per second out of them. Now on my camera I am shooting this at 24 frames a second, so if the screen cadence seems a little bit off, that's just how I do things for this video. But the idea that you can just pop this up to 1080p internal resolution or do a matching resolution for the Steam Deck screen if you're in handheld mode is just absolutely great. Something like Ape Escape 3 here, popping it up to 1080p and capturing it with a dock, it is such a great way to play, and that's the most fun part about the Steam Deck. Throw it in your pocket, if you have big pockets that is, and take it on the road with you. Come home, throw it in a dock, and play whatever you want. There's so many incredible games to play on this thing. I've had so much fun in the year that I have been playing around with it and doing these tutorials, and I can't recommend enough. If you're on the fence about buying one of these things, you definitely should check them out, because this is a little bit of a strange video. Let's get over to the giveaway side, because ExtremeRate sent me these a while ago to give away on the channel, and I've been deciding to do it around Christmas time. These are 3 different replacement cases, and the greatest part about the Steam Deck is just how infinitely moddable it is if you have the skill. There is this smoke black one here, and I do love the transparent plastic. It gives the Steam Deck a little bit of a different look, but we do have different colors as well. This is atomic purple, and if you're not familiar with that, that was a colorway that was most popularized by the Nintendo 64, which again is another great emulator to play on your Steam Deck. And with the infinitely reconfigurable controls, you can even get something like the Nintendo 64 with its very strange controller layout working relatively well on your Steam Deck. That's my other favorite part about this. Between the emulator configurations and the remappable controls in the Steam Deck OS, you can basically make any system work for you. Even if it's a keyboard and mouse game, you can plug in USB devices and just start playing around with them, and that's just a ton of fun. There's also a white case I have as well. It looks a little bit purple in the shot. That's just because of the exposure. It was very hard to balance this off onto my table. But if you want to enter to win any of these 3 cases, just leave me a comment down below and tell me what your favorite emulator to play on the Steam Deck is. It's open to anywhere in the world, and I'm going to lose money on this video on the shipping, so if you go down below and say I'm just doing this for clicks, you may as well feed that algorithm. But this is just something fun I can do at Christmas, and big thanks to ExtremeRate for sending these over for me to do this. Every kit has a ton of stuff in it, including a little manual and a QR code to give you a guide on how to do this. It is not the easiest thing in the world to do. Don't do it if you're a beginner, but if you want to enter to win any of these, just leave me that comment down below, and I will announce the winners on January 1st when I wake up. Might be in the afternoon. But what I love so much about playing around with Steam Deck emulation is just how configurable configurable each emulator is. Something like PlayStation 3 here, not every single game is going to run perfectly, but with the infinite options you have, you can dial in a lot of great experiences like Ico here. The idea that I can play this on the go on a PlayStation 3 emulator on Steam Deck is just amazing, and I can't wait to see what Valve does with a new Steam Deck somewhere down the line with more power, because PlayStation 3 is definitely one of those hit or miss systems, but when it is working, it is spectacular. And because of the control layout being so infinitely configurable and having all of the buttons you need, pretty much every single system you could possibly imagine you want to emulate on the Steam Deck is going to work for the controller layout. But because we have those back buttons as well, you can even reconfigure different things compared to the original consoles. And that's the other thing I've been loving about my Steam Deck so much. You can pretty much set anything up the way you want. If you don't want to use shoulder buttons for inputs, you can use those back triggers as well. And something like a game like Mortal Kombat here, you can set whatever you want. The fact that it even runs on the Steam Deck in the first place is just so impressive, and that's why this thing has been so much fun to play around with. Or something like the Sega Naomi. I have one in my collection. It is absolutely massive, and setting it up takes a very long time with a lot of cables. Now when I want to play around with Naomi, I just put my Steam Deck either in my hands or on the dock, and I can start playing some of my favorite Sega Naomi games of all time without having to drag my gigantic arcade board out of the closet. And the performance is extremely good as well. Something like Dead or Alive here is running at a lock 60 frames a second, and it looks better than Naomi via VGA because you do have graphical enhancements. That's not to say that Naomi is any sort of graphical slouch on a VGA monitor, but this is just a really nice modern way to play without having to have a gigantic PC next to your television, because we don't all have the space for that. And the best part is my Sega Naomi is not portable whatsoever, but the Steam Deck 100% is. And because we're using all of these different emulators, we have so many different options, including things that are in the Steam OS menu themselves. If you want to play around with the Analog Dead Zone and something like Super Monkey Ball here, you can do it within RetroArch, but you can also pop over to the control system within Steam OS itself and play around as well. And that's been the number one thing here, is just the ability to do whatever you want with the Steam Deck. Even things like light gun games here will work. You have the trackpad, you have the controls, and if I do this video in the future, you can get stuff like Cinder Gun for IR working if you do a lot of setup. So leave me a comment down below and tell me if you want to see that. And if you have other ideas for videos you want to see, I'm all ears. Now, if you do own a Steam Deck or you're thinking about getting one, I can't recommend a dock enough. This basically takes a portable handheld gaming PC that's perfect for emulation and allows you to play it on your television. And with all of those different USB inputs in the back, you have so many options for controls that are external to the Steam Deck. If I want to play something like Capcom CPS 3 in widescreen 16:9 on my dock, I can 100% do that. It is just a flawless execution of this amazing Capcom board. And if I want to do something like use a Neo Geo Pro stick or my custom build sticks here as well, I can 100% do that with some USB adapters. In the instance of the Neo Geo stick, it just works. And of course, a lot of the fun here comes just from setting up all of your different arts with Steam ROM Manager, being able to build your collections and play around with something like PGM. It just gives you a portable library of all of the games that you own available whenever you want. When you throw it on that dock at home, you can do stuff like use a Wiimote on your television, and it just works. That's the main takeaway of something like the Steam Deck. It just works when I want to play around with it, and I've done all of these different setup guides, so if you need any of them, check the playlist below, because I love teaching you guys how to use this stuff. And if there's a setup guide I haven't done yet, tell me down below and I'll take care of it. And again, with the touchscreen, stuff like Nintendo DS and 3DS is going to work as well, giving you the best way, in my opinion, to play these systems, even better than original hardware sometimes. But it's been a year since I've been talking about the Steam Deck, and it's just kind of my year in review and being able to give those cases away. But I can't wait to start talking more about the Steam Deck in 2024, because there's still a lot of life left in this thing, still a lot of emulators and video ideas I have, and if there's something you particularly want to see, leave me that comment and I'll see about it. And again, if you want to enter into win any of those cases, just leave me a comment down below and tell me what your favorite emulator is. When I announce the winners, the first person to contact me gets their pick of case choice as far as color is concerned, and I'll go down the line from there until there's no picks left. But if you haven't gotten a Steam Deck yet, definitely pick one up. And if you haven't started emulating retro games, you gotta do it. Short of that, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.